Hi and welcome to City Update. I'm Sherry Kropp. Heidi Bleasy from the Fayetteville History Museum is my guest today, and she's going to tell us about some wonderful exhibits that you can find at the Fayetteville History Museum. Now Heidi, for someone who's never visited the museum before, talk about some of the exhibits that they might be able to see.
Sure, coming here is a great chance to explore a lot of different topics about Fayetteville. We just revamped our exhibit on the Cape Fear River. This fall, we installed an exhibit on schools and educators in Fayetteville. We have our traditional military exhibits to include our World War I gallery. We have an exhibit on baseball's history in Fayetteville, the expansion of Fort Bragg in World War II, and coming soon, we'll have an exhibit on rare books about Fayetteville authors. So there's always something new and exciting coming of a variety of topics referring to local history.
And I know right now, in honor of Black History Month, you have a couple of special exhibits.
Sure, every year we do a special exhibit focused on a different topic related to our African American heritage here. And this year we're completing a series that we did on African American professionals. So this year the topic is architects and builders. And what's so neat about these is we're bringing about some information that is known to many of us. Some of the names in our exhibit are familiar. The Williston last name, for example, the Waddell name, as we were talking about, is kind of a common name in Fayetteville's history, but we've brought about some new information and met some new folks and some new stories related to the structures, many of those that are no longer here in our built environment.
And how long will the exhibits be on display?
Sure. This exhibit on architects and builders will be up for an entire year. However, last year's exhibits, which we focused on medical professionals, we are leaving up, and it's downstairs in our museum. We're leaving that up through this month. So we actually have a bonus of last year's exhibit remaining up in conjunction with this year's exhibit.
And Heidi, once these special exhibits are gone, I know that there are other exhibits that are in the museum that highlight or feature African American influence in our community. Is that right?
African Americans are highlighted in special exhibits for Black History Month that remain up throughout the year, but everybody's history is told here. And in our baseball exhibit, we have amazing stories about African American baseball teams that were here in the late 19th century. We feature African American soldiers that served in World War I by name and photograph. And so throughout our museum, we have a great representation of so many people, stories, cultures, experiences, and events that occurred throughout this community.
What are the hours of the museum? When can people come to visit?
We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. And because of COVID, our hours have not changed, but we do ask people to wear a mask and practice social distancing. And we have hand sanitizer available for our guests. So we are taking precautions, but we're here and a great place for you to come and experience downtown Fayetteville and the history of this community.
And the last thing we want to remind people of is that the admission is absolutely free. There is no charge to visit the museum.
Correct. And we do have an annex next door, so you can visit an additional part of the museum that has additional exhibits.
Well, thank you, Heidi, for being my guest today and sharing that great information with our viewers. We also want to remind you that we're going to go more in depth about the two exhibits on our next Fayetteville 411 podcast, which you can find on Apple iTunes or Google Play Podcast. Just search for Radio Fayetteville. It will come out on February the 3rd. Thank you for watching this City Update, and we'll see you next time.